welcome back to Trails Unpacked. Today we are going to be talking about 5 common mistakes we made on our thru hike. Number 1, packing way too much food. Oh. And so what does that mean? It comes in 2 different forms. One is aiming for long resupplies. 4 days is really the max that you want to carry food for. When we first got on trail, we were scared, honestly, of going into town. We didn't know how to do it. We didn't know how to navigate it. So we wanted to plan resupplies that were a lot longer, like 5 or 6 days. And even if you're carrying the bare minimum of food, that's a lot of food to be carrying. Another mistake is carrying too much food even for shorter resupply days. So if you are only going for 3 days, that's how long your resupply is, there's no need to carry extra meals. There's no need to carry 15 different snack options. We're out here to hike and civilization is not that far away. It is not a survivalist camp. And if you're afraid of running out of food, pack 2 extra snacks max. That'll help you get you to town in case you do have an increased appetite. All right, so number 2 is not testing your gear before trail. A lot of people think that to test your gear, you have to go out on a long overnight backpacking trip. And frankly, you just may not have the time for that. You're about to quit your job, you're about to go live in the woods, and you don't have time right now to go out for 2 weeks and do that. So when we say testing your gear, we don't mean that it has to be on a backpacking trip. Yep, it can just be a simple overnight trip or even just blowing up your sleeping pad at home and testing out your gear just right in your own living room.
There are so many different options on the market for your sleep system, your quilt, your sleeping pad, and you want to make sure when you're on trail, you're having a good night's sleep. So blow up that sleeping pad in your living room, blow it up in your bedroom, and try sleeping on it for a night and see if that does the trick for you.
Yep. And for cold weather camping, again, even just going out in your backyard, sleeping the night and seeing how your sleep system works in cold weather, that will be sufficient enough to give you a good idea if your gear is standing up to the test of the cold weather and also to, your sleeping pattern.
And one thing that is very underrated is setting up your tent before you go on trail. We carried 2 different types of tents across our 2 different thru hikes. The first tent we had was a freestanding one, which means it had poles. And our second one was a tension tent, which means that it relied mainly on using stakes to tension it out. These are very, very different setups, and there are techniques to do them and ways that you just figure out work better. And it's going to be a lot less anxiety to figure that out before you're on trail than when you are getting to camp, you're tired, it's getting dark soon, and you have no idea why your tent is sagging so poorly.
Yep. Number 3, being too rigid in miles. This can be from one extreme of only hiking 5 miles a day, 8 miles a day to start off with, just to make sure that you aren't overexhausting yourself, to being, I need to hike 20 miles a day in order to get to, the ending point by the certain specific date that you have. Be flexible in your miles. Every day is going to be different of what you're going to hike, what your body's going to feel up to, and what, if you're going into town or going to resupply or just something fun on trail, give yourself time to go experience these things.
I know it's hard to start a trail and not have a hard deadline. Everyone starts with an idea of when they would like to finish, and some people really do have hard deadlines that they need to finish by. However, one of the easiest ways to control that is your amount of 0 days and not necessarily planning out how many miles you have to do every day. And this goes for lower miles and higher miles as well. If you start the trail thinking you need to ease into it and only allow yourself to hike 7 miles a day, even if you're feeling good, you're going to hold yourself back from building that
hiker stamina and those hiker legs.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and just like anything in your everyday life, you're not planning out every single day for the next 6 months. And that's, you're not doing that in your everyday life. Don't do that for your through hike. You don't need to plan out every single day. Let things kind of come as they come.
We have a great video on how to plan resupply stops, and this is really helpful in helping you break down trail into just a few days at a time and not look at it like an over 2,000 mile trek that you have to have the answers for right now.
Yep.
All right, coming in at number 4. We are back to gear again, and this one is having a poorly adjusted or poorly fitted pack. Now, there's a lot of people out there, and you might be one of them, who a through hike is your first time backpacking, which means a pack and wearing one for an extended period of time is a new experience. And that is phenomenal. You don't have to have a ton of backpacking experience to go on a through hike. However, one area where you really want to be careful about, though, is knowing if your pack is fitting you the way that a pack should fit you. This isn't to say that a pack that is uncomfortable due to weight or the like is a bad pack. This just means if the pack is overly heavy, if it is overly ill-fitting, if it literally hurts you, it is probably not fitted correctly or the right pack for you.
Yep. So one thing we liked was we went to REI and put on different packs and felt what was comfortable for us. We both used different packs because it felt differently on our bodies. And the cool thing about REI is that you can have them put weight in the pack and you can walk around the store and see how it fits on your body. Now, not every single pack company is, you're not going to be able to try them out beforehand, especially a lot of the cottage company packs. But they do have information on their websites about how to adjust the packs, or even when you're going to look at buying one, how you need to measure yourself to figure out which pack would be the best for you.
Women might already be used to this when it comes to buying jeans, but every single pack company has different measurements that define a small, medium, or large. So really take the time, get a measuring tape, and measure yourself. The measurements matter, and it will make a huge difference when you're already out there hiking to have a pack that fits your body properly.
Yep. And just like Riveter said, the weight of the items in your pack and things like that can definitely play a role in how comfortable your pack is. And sometimes that is just the experience of hiking. As you backpack, you get in a couple of days, you'll find how to really dial in how to pack your pack so it's the most comfortable for you. We both pack our packs different because it feels different on our bodies. So it's good to talk with other hikers to see what they're doing in their through hike. But just know that the way that you pack your pack doesn't always have to be the way that you see in YouTube videos and other hikers do. It's good to get ideas, but not necessarily the standard way that you have to do it.
And when we talk about items in your pack, it's a good reminder that the last piece of gear that you should buy is your pack. Packs have different liters and they have different weight ratings, especially the UL packs will outright state that the pack is really only meant to carry 20 pounds or maybe 25 pounds, and you won't know that until you've acquired your gear. You don't want to have 30 pounds of gear and try to put that in a pack that's a 20 pound rated pack. So I know it's tempting. The packs are cool. The packs are flashy. The packs make you feel like a thru hiker, but that's the item you need to wait till you have your other gear to buy. And then once you have that pack, you can put your actual own gear in it and see how that feels for you.
Number 5, and this is probably the most common mistake, is just having way too many expectations for the trail. Either on a good side of this is going to be the best experience of my life, to even on the opposite side, worrying too much about the unknowns of trail.
The number one reason that I have heard of hikers getting off trail in a thru hike is that the thru hike is not meeting the expectation they had in their mind when they got on trail. And that expectation can be different for everyone. Some people come on trail expecting it to be a remote, peaceful, no people, you're out there foraging survivalist style. And some people come out there thinking that it is going to be a social party vacation for 6 months. Mm-hmm. And while those experiences can both exist on trail, trail is really what you make it. At the same time, there are some things that you can't control. You can't control weather. You can't control the temperature. You can't control if you get injured or the like. So you need to be open to what the trail brings to you and know that even the bad moments are temporary.
So one example for us is we went into trail with the expectation that we were never going to hitchhike. We were kind of too afraid of that. But as we got more comfortable and we actually hitchhiked with other people, we found that it was actually a doable thing and we felt safe doing it. And that really opened us up to being able to get into towns easily in and out and for a relatively low cost. So that was an expectation that I think we weren't prepared for, but then happily came out of it.
It led to one of our most spontaneous days that we had on trail, which was choosing last minute to go into Gatlinburg, Tennessee, because we were craving a pizza buffet. Mm-hmm. And we, at that point, were so scared of getting a ride from people we didn't know. And we did it in a way that we both felt safe and comfortable and just took that plunge and ended up having a phenomenal time, met some phenomenal people, and had a really good day in Gatlinburg.
Yeah. And I find that most of the experiences on the trail that are most memorable to me are things that I just wasn't expecting and being a little bit more outside of my comfort zone. So that brings us to our conclusion. Those were 5 mistakes that we made heading out onto trail.
And sometimes there's only so much preparation you can do. So don't stress yourself out about knowing every single thing, about knowing how to avoid every single mistake. Every through hike is different, and I promise you'll have a good one if you go out there with a good attitude and ready to go with the flow.